Ready? Call this meeting in order. All stand. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call. Bretton Luther.
Present.
R.J. Dunham.
Here.
Jim Yoakum is present. Approval of minutes.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of claims.
Motion to approve claims.
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of payroll.
Make a motion to approve payroll as presented.
Second motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is public comment. We will have public comment twice this evening, one at the beginning and also one at the end. If you want to speak, please come to the mic. Let us state your name, and we'll give you 3 minutes to speak. So,
Evening, gentlemen. I don't know if it's the right time to come and talk to you, but I'm up to be reappointed to the Wabash River Heritage Corridor Commission. I think you all have got the paperwork for that. And I just want to come up here and just see if there was any questions from any of you about that position and about what we do there. And to be happy to enlighten you tonight.
you currently serve on that, correct?
I do. I've been on it for probably at least 4 years.
How long?
4.
4 years.
I took over from Larry Southern.
Right.
Isn't Larry still on that? I thought
He
there's
is
two.
the alternate.
Right. Right.
I'm the appointed
Primary.
commissioner. He's the alternate.
I sent, I think, an email to you. Do we ever get, I don't recall ever receiving any reports on what we're doing or what's been recommended for the county through that quarter.
Well, and I've not got in the habit of giving regular reports to you all, the commissioners. There's minutes and everything on the internet. But for what it's worth, we have taken advantage of the funding there within the commission. The Wabash River Heritage Corridor Commission is actually funded by oil revenues
On the river.
that come from underneath the river, mostly down in Gibson, Posey County. And by an act of the legislature, they set this commission up to use those monies to promote activities and do development along the river corridor. And so there are 19 counties that border the river, and 18 of them have chosen to have a commissioner to represent their county on this commission. So I think I sent you all an email a couple times about an opportunity that's current, which is the Historical and Cultural Resources Grant opportunity. And I know a couple of you are kind of history buffs, so I thought hopefully you can take that and run with it if you got some kind of thing in mind. But the caveat is that the project has to happen within a mile of the river. It has to stay in the river corridor, or it has to have a significant connection to the river in terms of a historical connection. So
I need to review that further, but I have 2 projects in mind that we might be able to throw into the
I
hat.
think there's a deadline coming up, so.
December 1st, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming right up. But I sent that out to you guys, I think twice I've sent that out to you. So.
$300,000 a win or something like that.
There is a limit, let's see, maximum grant request is $100,000, minimum is $20,000. The $100,000, I mean, it's going to require a 25% match. But for what it's worth, that's what we use to build that trail that comes from the pedestrian bridge here at Montezuma. We built that trail section using money from this commission. And if memory serves me, I think that boat ramp down at Clinton, that newer boat ramp, was built with funding from this group too.
But that's a state facility. They put the money into it at Clinton.
Yeah.
Like I said, if
County.
memory serves me correctly, that was it. I'm not sure.
We do have one that's coming up, though, that I don't think it requires county money, though, at this point. They're
No.
at Cayuga,
For the big
or
Vermilion.
above Cayuga.
Yeah,
But it's not the river, it's the
It's Vermilion
tributary.
River.
yeah, big Vermilion.
Yeah, it needs to be within the river corridor. So, anyway, I am up for appointment, so I'd appreciate if you all would take action on that today, and I will stand for reappointment if you all choose to do that.
Appreciate what you've done and what you do.
Yeah, I
Does that
don't,
appointment start January 1st?
Beg pardon?
Is that on the calendar year, the appointments?
I think it's an appointment for 2 years.
But when does it start?
Calendar,
January
I believe
1st,
it's
right?
calendar, yes.
We're
I
in,
think-
we're in the process of
Yeah.
taking on those things. I don't know that we'll make that decision, or I don't suggest we make that decision tonight. I don't think there's any problem with it, Les, but we're in the process of taking appointments and going to be considering those for the county, for everything that's coming up in the county here in the next month, so.
And we haven't set that date of confirming when we're all, have them all
We
done.
need to do it before January 1st.
Well, that's
For
fine. I
sure.
just wanted to make sure if you all had any questions for me. The other thing I will say to that is Larry Southern, his health has not been the best, and he would like to pass his position on, which is the alternate.
Okay.
So let it be known out here in the public that if we could have another person step up and become the alternate, that would be, it's a very interesting process.
If you have a recommendation for that, it would be appreciated as well, for the alternate.
I'm looking.
Would Larry confirm that with you?
Yes.
It's his choice.
Yep.
Something else we've got here is Sycamore Trails. I was on that board and nothing exists of it. I don't know if you know anything about it.
Sycamore Trails RC and D.
Yeah, I never have been to a meeting, never knowed when the meetings were, and to me,
I think it is, I think it has gone away.
okay, because we still have it on here, and then there was never no communication. When I first got a hold of them one time, there was a little bit of communication, after that was none, and so I think we ought to just.
Okay? My 3 minutes up?
Your 10 minutes is up.
Probably.
thanks.
Thank you for all you do.
Don't go anywhere.
You need to turn the hourglass.
Dale White, Western Indiana Community Foundation and Vermilion County Community Foundation. I didn't know that Les was going to be here tonight, but I just wanted you to know, and Les to know, all the community foundations in the state of Indiana, based upon your population, ours is in the umbrella of 50,000 and less people. We've been invited by the Lilly Endowment to submit a planning grant for some kind of project. We just learned of this about 2 weeks ago. The grant deadlines for me is the end of the day on Thursday. So
This coming Thursday?
yeah, this coming Thursday. So it's a $50,000 planning grant, and what we're doing, Les and commissioners, is you can submit a single county project grant application, and you can do a regional grant application. So our regional grant applications, we're going to submit a $50,000 request to do a planning study with the architectural firm of Kimley Horn out of Indianapolis, 90 offices across the country, 4,500 employees across the country. And it's going to be a planning grant to do a needs assessment of what we're calling the Wabash River Blueway project. So if you think of a greenway, it's on the sides of the river. The Blueway is everything that can take place in the river. So whether it's kayaking, whether it's boating, whether it's murals on the abutments of bridges, whether it's learning more about access points and things of that nature. So this is a non-competitive grant, so we're pretty sure we're going to get it by mid-December. And then you submit your follow-up reports, and you may be invited to apply for a competitive grant of up to $5 million from the Lilly Endowment. And so Warren, Fountain, and Vermillion are all going to partner together. We cover 62 miles of Wabash River between the three of us. Any one of us alone is a pretty small population. You know, Warren County's 8,500. Here we're, what, 15.5,
Yep.
Fountain 16.5, so about 40,000 citizens. So the point is, this planning study, you're probably going to hear from us because we're going to ask for input, or Kimley Horn is going to ask for input for those who partner. And I think the more understanding we all have about all the resources that you've been involved with, the greater likelihood we might have some success. So I'm glad you're here tonight. So,
I'm glad you're here.
that's all I have.
So,
Thank you.
you said it needs to be in by Thursday, so have you got it all done, ready to go in? Or do you need something from us?
Yeah,
or-
no, I don't need anything from you right now. I have several partners in some of this. Can't disclose all those now, but we're also submitting a single request that's child care related, and it relates to the Ernie Pyle School and what the redevelopment commission is doing there. So we're going to be applying for a $50,000 grant there as well. It's for they're pretty far down the road on child care with the Ernie Pyle School, but this is more about studying before school care, after school care, summer learning programs, adult education programs that maybe can take place during the day or in the evenings in another wing of the school. So, so those two planning grants are going on simultaneously, but the river prompted me to get up here and speak.
Is this coordinated with the Ivy Tech and ISU studies that are going on?
It's part
with
of
that?
it. The child care is, we're partnering with RJL Solutions out of
Right.
Terre Haute and with the redevelopment commission. But we're the ones who are finalizing the grant, and our name's the one that's going to be on it, responsible.
With regard to grant writing and so forth, do you do that for counties as well? Would you, for Vermillion County, do you get involved in anything like that for fee or not? Preferably
We'd
not.
be open to talk about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Never say never.
Appreciate
Never say
it.
never.
It just came up this afternoon at our previous meeting, so.
Yeah. Thanks.
I do want to say I appreciate that because I'm a big advocate of the Wabash River. I think it's a part of our county that's not developed and used the way it should be. And the last 3 years we've had the Wabash River run down there, and each time we've had excellent success. We started out with 25 boats, went to 50, and this time we had about 80. We raised around $15,000 each time, and this Wabash River is something I think that investment that you're talking about doing will be a very positive thing to take something in, a part of our natural resources that's not being utilized. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Vermillion County has the longest shoreline with the Wabash River of any county in the state, so we should highlight that a little bit more than we do.
Next.
I'm Craig Hendry. I'm here to, I unfortunately have to inform you that in the August 1st Commissioners meeting, I believe, Attorney Scott Craig for the City of Clinton came in here and lied to you all, specifically you, Mr. Yoakum, when he said to you in response to your question, is there any building going on city property before the property has been transferred over? He answered that in the negative. The truth is that was going on. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know exactly why he was not telling the entire truth, but I assume that's something that you all would want to look into. I'd also like to say, just, you know, since this is public comment for just county matters in general, my response, or the response given to me by some political allies here in the county building, has been absolutely disgusting. As I'm a well-known political activist, I just go around and exercise my rights. You know, I mean, that's pretty much all that I do. And it seems that, like the city attorney for Clinton, some of the attorneys here in the county seem to follow the same same kind of, I don't know, trend. You know, they lie and they I guess cook up false criminal charges, and that's just a complaint of mine. You know, I feel like your prosecutors here are doing a way less than par job, so to speak. But if you guys have any questions about the properties, we provided you with pictures of them. The proof is in the pictures. These are Google satellite images. They're dated 2017 to 2023. These are the most recent ones. The title for these properties in the pictures, they're on North 6th Street. The title wasn't transferred over to the person who built on those properties until 2023. So, and the 2017 picture has proof there's, I think, at least 4 houses built on those properties at that point in time, according to these Google satellite images. So it's not really me saying it, it's Google. That guy came in and lied to you guys, so you guys have a right to subpoena him if you want to ask him any more questions. And if you guys have any good questions for me, that's fine, but like I said, I think the proof is in the pudding here. So,
Okay.
that being said, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. We'll be able to have another time at the end if someone's, we have the comment at the beginning also because some people want to come and make their comment and leave. And it's not, we want you to leave. It's, we make that option. I think it's good government to have people, let people have a chance to comment. So anybody else? If not, we're going to move on with the rest of the agenda. Okay, next issue, Purdue Broadband Team Initiative. Lori Broslaw, is she here today?
Is that next meeting?
Was she supposed to, was her name on the agenda to speak? Okay. Maybe next time.
Yeah, the one email here shows she was going to be here on November 13th.
What?
This one here says she was requesting for the 13th, but I don't know if she was going to be here.
That's the council.
Oh, the council.
President, commissioners, and the council.
Okay.
We're going to move on. Historical Marker Grant, Melissa Weibel is working on an application to do some historical markers here in Vermilion County. I think that we have been involved. I know Britt and I have been involved, and a couple others been involved in a lot of historical projects here locally. Usually when we do a historical project, we've been writing books when we do them historical projects, so there's not only a historical marker there, but there's also a written book on these. Henry Dana Washburn was a big project. Burlett's Trading Post, now there is a historical marker in Shepherdsville. There's also a book written on it by George that's in Clinton Library. The Chung Cemetery project is getting ready to come together. It's been a long project, and Cheryl Hargrave has wrote a book on that project. So when we do these historical projects, we're trying to put not only bringing up stuff and making it nice, we're also preserving it in a historical standpoint by having books published. So we'll have more on that next meeting.
Don't forget the Washburn Bridge and display there at the library too.
Yep, we've done very well. LTAP, the asset management plan, is that still in works or is it complete? Clark Dietz?
It's in the works. They're almost completely done with it, and Mike and I are working on the bridge one, and then we set up a time and we're gonna.
Because that has to be turned in by the end of the month, don't it?
December 1st.
So we're okay. You got any questions about that? Community Crossing Grant, Britt, you want to talk a little bit about that? And what's going on?
I don't have a proposal from Clark Dietz at this point that I know of. Have we received any from them on that?
I haven't gotten it.
Requested one, but it's not been received as of this date. So.
Okay. Community Crossing Grant, we apply for it every year. It's been a tremendous asset to our county. I think we've probably got the best road system in the state from a road standpoint. Now we are looking at other things that we need to do in our county. There's culverts and things like that we also got to get fixed. And so this year I think it's going to be a lot of culvert replacement and some
I've not seen the list.
Huh?
Mike's preparing a list. I've
Yeah.
not seen it, but that's why I
But
understand.
the good thing about it is we got diverse now enough that it's not just roads, it's other things that we need to do. And so anyway,
because we have not received, our new bridge contract is with RQAW now, or will be. Would RQAW be interested in administering our community crossing grant portion of it? Clark Dietz has been,
Why don't you come on up, Mr. Mayor?
Clark Dietz has been a little shy at proposing and getting things in front of us. It's always last minute, it seems like, and I don't know if we need to change horses at this time or not, but with the bridge projects now going from Clark Dietz to RQAW, I'm right, correct?
Yes.
Then we may want to start looking at the possibility of some of these projects maybe being transferred over at this point. I've talked to him a few times about issues, and it just doesn't seem to gel quite right yet. So,
Well, one of the questions I have, because we have Bridge 122, it's already funded.
yeah, it's enough of funding, yeah.
So is that something that the Clark Dietz will still be maintained, or will it go to them?
It's difficult to change horses
Okay.
in the middle of the stream. They're already done 4 years. I think construction starts next year, I think 24 on that. I'm not sure that we want to change horses on that
Okay.
one.
Their work as an engineering company would probably already be done, because they engineered the bridge, so now it's the construction
You'll go to
part.
construction
Right, and then
this
construction
next-
inspection. Yeah, we'd be happy to look at all that. We'd jump
But-
right on it in a heartbeat.
But isn't there some
Yeah.
conflict with the state when the engineering company can't also do both or something? Remember something came out about that,
No.
that they couldn't design it and then end up bidding on it?
Oh,
No.
There was something, I'm saying.
We're
Remember what it was?
designers, we're not construction.
what
So-
it was, Tim, is
It
that
was something.
if they do the estimate for community, and it actually was for community crossings, I don't know if it'll carry over to others, but if they give us an estimate for community crossings, then they're not eligible to do the inspection for community
Okay,
crossings.
that's
as
what it
well.
was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So I don't know if I don't think that carries over to other programs, but anyway, if it has state funds in it and federal funds in it, it may come into it being a problem of doing those two, so.
Okay. You have any questions for us since you're taking this over effective the first of the year, right?
Yeah, no, none at
Well-
all. And really, I'd like to make a public comment to you guys. Well, Les already left, but I'm also a commissioner on the Wabash River Heritage Corridor from Knox County. And Les does an excellent job.
Yeah,
He's
good
a
dude.
leader. He takes the bull by the horns, and I mean, he's one of our most motivated members. He really is.
Good.
And he and I've worked a lot together. I mean, we go to the meetings. He attends. Matter of fact, we're going to meet tomorrow in Gibson County. I wish he told you that, but we're having a Wabash River Heritage Corridor meeting down there at a historic Lyle Station. That's just right across the White River from me. So I'm looking forward to spending the day with him tomorrow. So
Good.
Yeah, he's a leader in the community.
he's a leader. He's a leader of that.
Good man.
He does a good job.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll get in touch on this
Sure.
community
I'll
crossing.
go away. Just give me a buzz. Okay. Thanks.
I know we've already had a proposal, not a proposal, but presentation from you a year ago or so.
Well, the Weibo contract, are we okay with that again this year, or
Yeah, she presented a contract.
it's for
I don't know if we have
9,000?
it, do we have it here?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make, I'll just find it. Always get behind on my
For grant writing services.
papers here. Okay, I'll just get this. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the contract for grant writing services. This is for 2024 Community Crossing Grant, so for, I believe, $9,000 to be paid out at $1,000 per month, still paid in full. She's done all of our community crossing grant and has done a very good job, or an excellent job in the past, and is familiar with the process and with the segments and so forth, which is, to me, very tedious work, and she does an excellent job with that. So make a motion that we approve the writing assistance grant for her.
That's it.
I'll second the motion.
I do want to say that, again, about Community Crossing Grant, Melissa Weibel has been a tremendous asset to the county in many different facets. And I remember the first year we did the Community Crossing Grant, when it first came out, we had no money, and we measured the roads ourselves, and we ended up getting that grant. She didn't get anything for that grant. It was $1 million, and someone I was trying to get something for her, and then one day some guy came along that I knew in the community, said, "Did she ever get paid for that?" And I said, "No," and he said, he's gonna go get her a brand new computer for it. So she got a brand new computer for writing $1 million grant. And the percentage that she charges versus $1 million, it's really a substantial amount of income we get, an asset from that. I think we're up to about $8 million now that we've got. And usually we try to max it out at $1.33 million a year, and that's a lot of money, because we got a 25% match. So council usually approves us $333,000 a year, and it goes against the $1.33 million. So we spend $333,000 and we get $1.3 million back as far as community involvement in our roads and our streets. So great program. The vote. Had discussion.
Yeah.
Call for a vote.
Cool. Aye.
Aye.
Agree.
Okay. Good official. Okay, next we have the IT. What was that? Did you cover that? Got that, Britt?
I was hoping, we have the potential of having, this is a discussion for tonight, we do have the managed services contract, or proposed contract from EAS. They provide those services for this year, for 2023. We have the potential of having another person actually become our IT manager. Still waiting for a proposal on that from the individual, and whether they become a county employee or a 1099 employee, to look at the differences in cost between the EAS and possibly if that person would manage, whether those funds would be potentially available from anyway, the total funding would be the same basically, whereas the county would have its own IT manager as opposed to a contracted service. So whether that be a 1099 employee or a W-2 employee is yet to be determined.
That discussion's ongoing then. Ongoing discussion.
Ongoing at this point. But we do, before the end of the year, we do need to make the decisions, either EAS contract. I don't think we'll get rid of EAS, put it that way. They will have services that an IT manager will manage, and we will still need EAS to provide those services. The IT manager will not be able to do all-encompassing work that the EAS does. So it'll be potentially a marriage. Either it'll be EAS all the way with contract services and managed services, or they'll be contracted and we'll have managed services through the IT coordinator if we have one. But yet to be determined whether we have one yet. And
What
what
other
that
counties
cost will
do?
be.
Our size, other counties our size, what do they do?
They have IT managers. Greene County has one. Knox is a little bigger than us. Just about everybody has an IT manager.
I don't know.
Even the schools, I mean, they have two at South at least. I know North has at least one, if not two. Every business entity either contracts with their management services or has their own IT people. We do not have anybody really managing our services except relying on EAS, and we don't meet with them very often to be able to say it's a managed service for that matter.
So
What computers need to be turned out, what software needs to be changed, all the way down to turn the computer on for that matter.
So you have more information later on that?
I'm hoping to. I've been pushing for that for about the last 2 weeks, but we're not there yet.
Okay. What's the status of the next meeting with the IT? Is that's set up in the next meeting?
IT committee? I don't know. Bart, are you still involved with that IT committee?
Did you guys have a meeting come up?
We don't have one scheduled.
Did you guys get your information as far as your release of liability?
It was emailed to us, yes.
You did get it?
Yes.
And it did, when you guys read it, did it make sense and it was okay?
To me, I haven't heard from the rest of the group. Yeah.
Okay, EAS 2024 contract agreement, you want us to review it and then we'll put it in front of us and so we can
Yeah,
talk about it?
we'll
and
need to
discuss it?
approve this at first meeting in December, if not we need to have it in place before 2024, put
Right.
it that way. But we may have
What
an
would
IT.
you two think that the deadline of getting that approved, when we think?
I
we
think
should
this
have
needs
it?
to go in front of the IT committee for their recommendation.
Okay. Some might not know, but we do have a 5-member, is that right, Bart? 5-member IT board now. In the past, we've had no one. when we make decisions around here about IT, I don't think it should be made by the commissioners or the council. It should be made by us, but we need people that know what they're doing. And I think RJ, when we spent that money at one time, we questioned it because we didn't know. And so it's all about making good decisions and having the right people to help us make those. So we do have a 5-member board, as I said earlier, and they're very sharp guys, and we appreciate what they do. County Commissioner appointment, I think that's something that's down the road. We just need to keep it on our radar, right?
I just thought that we'd make announcement as to what positions are coming up for 2024.
If you got the paper there, or one of you guys got it, you can read it off, whichever
Is
one.
this the same as mine?
No, it is.
Well, if it's,
similar. I emailed you back on the couple of changes. You had one that wasn't up. And
could you announce these then? What positions are up?
Yeah, this is the same.
Can you go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Would you go ahead and do
Me?
that? Yes.
Can you hear me?
And stand at the podium.
Can you hear me?
Come sit up here with us, Brenda.
That's okay.
You got a mic there.
Mindy Bush, Alcoholic Beverage Board, her
No,
term is
just
up.
the positions, not who's there,
You don't need the
but what's
name?
open, yeah.
All right, Area Plan Commission has one.
Commissioner appointment, right? Oh, it's already been.
These are just doing the commissioners' appointments. Board.
Who is it? It's,
We
Don't
don't-
worry about it.
We're not,
Just-
you don't care.
Board of Zoning and Appeals, one position. 3 positions, the North, Middle, South on the E911 board. The Economic Development Commission, that's a question. We have to talk about that one. The Health Board, you have 1, 2, 3 on the Health Board. You have 3 on the Innkeepers Tax Board. All of them on the Vermilion Rise. That was one you had talked about, maybe staggering.
Next
A
time.
note that I have onto the side. The Property Tax Adjustment Board of Appeals, you have 2. The Redevelopment Commission, you have 3. The Vermilion County Newport Library, you have 1. As Les was stating, you have 1 on the Wabash River Corridor Commission. And that's it.
thank you.
But you have your list and.
Actually, we
The
have 2.
applications-
We have the alternate as well.
Yeah, the alternate, yes.
Is it open online
It
with
is
people?
open online.
Okay, so those are the ones that, I mean, you can apply for other one, because is the whole list on there for all these, or is it just the ones that are open, that are listed?
There's not a list online, I suppose.
Those are just the commissioner
That's just the
ones.
commissioners.
Well, I mean, when you go online to apply, when you can select the board, select the board,
Yes,
are they
sir.
all available to?
Drop down, yes.
Okay.
They're putting them all on there. Does it, I'm trying to think, so if they apply, it also show who the appointee is. That will also have the council's appointments on there too. All of it will be on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Open issues, updated contract with RQAW for 2023, 2026 bridge inspection. Got anything else to say? Okay.
Backing up on the commissioners' appointments, when are we going to sit around? Are we going to have an executive session on this appointment? Can we set that date?
I'd say probably in the middle of December for the end date, I think, or something. What do you guys think?
That's fine with me. I don't think it'll take that long to review, unless we have like 200 people apply for things, which I encourage people to go apply, but normally we don't have a lot. But I'd say middle of December, maybe, when's our next meeting, the 19th, or what is it, the 19th?
You have one the 5th, then you have the 19th. That's the one, that's the
19th.
one where you need to announce it's the 19th.
Okay. You wanna,
That'd be a good time, 19th.
Well, we'll make a decision on the 19th.
Yeah, you'd have
You
to
want to have an
make that-
executive session on
before
the
that.
19th also, before the meeting?
That's
You-
a 9:30 meeting.
could have an executive meeting Monday, because the 19th is probably on a Tuesday, right? So you could do an executive on the 18th and end it maybe what, like
I've
the
checked my dates.
As far as your calendar that I had, you were open.
Okay.
Maybe set the deadline the Wednesday before, maybe? That would give you 5-6 days to review the applicants.
We need, yeah, so
whatever that Wednesday date.
Even if we make a decision on somebody, it doesn't mean they want it. So,
Yeah.
So the 13th will be the deadline?
Yep.
Okay.
December 13th. Okay.
so we're gonna meet the Wednesday before our meeting? Is that what we're doing?
Monday, the 18th, what time?
Well, that, if we make a decision on the 18th, doesn't give us much time if somebody doesn't, I mean, we may pick somebody and they don't want to do this.
Okay.
So,
I was
if we
just-
don't have an appointment.
I just would assume they'd want to do it if they apply for it. That would just be my.
Well, we may pick people that are, there may be no applications, and just because they make applications doesn't mean we don't pick somebody else.
I just figured if you done it the Wednesday to give all the commissioners time to call them, talk to them, speak, and then the Monday we could
Oh, okay.
see it. Yeah, that was my thought.
I see what you're saying.
And
Okay.
then the 19th is the meeting that you would actually,
Yeah.
We'll meet, okay.
I'd say the executive would be the 18th, and then the Wednesday we'd close them. That'd give us 5-6
That's
days.
fine. Yeah, that makes sense. I was on a different track.
That's all right.
Okay, we done cover the bridge inspections, right? We're
No.
okay?
We
Is that how
we
many-
have, the contract has to be updated on that because of the delay we had in approving the RQAW contract for the bridges. So that had to be revised anyway. Do we not have to approve a new contract or not? That's what I thought. So we need to approve the new contract for RQAW for the bridge inspections. So I make a motion that we approve the contract, the RISE contract, I'm sorry, for RQAW for the 2024 and 2025 bridge inspection. Yeah, well, it's on a fiscal year. It starts in July, so I guess it's 24 and 25. It's not on a calendar year.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opioid funding status? I think we're kind of not,
I've not received anything from the health department yet concerning their request for anything that they would recommend as far as the opioid funding goes. I did mention the peer court to them, but I've not received any of their comments on peer court. In fact, they were wondering what it's about. Also, my questions have been forwarded, and I've not received any answers on the peer court.
She is tonight.
Well, there you go then. I guess we do have some answers.
I have a lot of answers.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
the other two.
You were just waiting for your time, right?
I was quietly waiting. Like Mr. Luther said, he has sent me about 20 questions regarding
State your
opioid
name.
funds. Tia Hyde.
Yeah.
I'm the peer court administrator here in Vermillion County. His first question was provide an accounting of money spent in 22 and 23. I went ahead and did it from the start of the program. I don't have a lot of expenditures. 2021 was kind of my initial startup. My budget consists of three things besides my salary: outreach, training, and office supplies. That's it. My first year I bought some outreach things to get the word out about the program. I spent $635. Office supplies, I spent $1,095.
Do we have a spreadsheet of this?
I could get it to you, definitely.
Okay.
2022, I saw that the program was going to work, so I went ahead and upped my outreach, and I spent a little over $2,000 on that. Office supplies, I spent $799 because I needed a printer that made copies, because all I had was the old school printer. Then this year I've spent $395 on outreach and $582 on office supplies. His next question was, how are these funds spent and for what purpose? My budget's broken up into the following categories. I just told you: salary, office supplies, outreach, and training. Salary is for the administrator to conduct peer court hearings, meet with peer court participants, parents, prepare necessary paperwork, monitor the progress of the juvenile, and conduct anything necessary in the running of peer court. Office supplies are things needed in order to keep the peer court going: paper, pencils, postage, envelopes, ink, Post-its, pens, folders, etc. Outreach is anything that can be distributed to inform the community about peer court, including brochures, business cards, things that can be handed out to the schools to get the volunteer opportunity awareness, things like that out there.
Training is something that's put in there. If there's any type of seminar or training that's made available, that I would have the funds to be able to go to that. Why does Peer Court need these funds was your next question. This would alleviate some of the weight off of the general fund. This program is a youth-based program that is very needed to help the kids realize that small acts could affect their adult lives. These kids need to realize that, you know, something like vaping. Vaping does not help anxiety, marijuana does not get rid of your problems, and drinking doesn't make you fit in. These funds would allow us to continue to help these problem areas. Detrimental curving. With detrimental curving, I went off recidivism and how many cases I've had repeat. My recidivism rate is very well. I've only had 3 cases come back to me over about 100 kids that have gone through Peer Court. It teaches them that there is more to getting in trouble than a smack on the hand. They learn accountability, responsibility by having to complete their sentences and build a bond in the community that they live in by performing community services within that community. Your next question was, what evidence-based documentation is provided for the effectiveness of this program? I'm not for sure what evidence-based documents like you were requesting, but I have my numbers, is what I did. In 2021, my first Peer Court case was held on August 11th, 2021. 31 cases were held in Peer Court that year. 7 of those cases were filed with the court, but ended up in through Peer Court. In 2022, I had 27 cases held, 3 post-filing, along with 19 truancy cases, totaling 48 Peer Court cases that year. In 2023 through today's date, I have 37 court cases that have been held. I have 3 waiting to be scheduled, 7 post cases that were filed and then sent over to Peer Court, 38 truancy cases, which total 75 cases to date. So I've almost doubled my numbers from last year to this year. Let's see. In the 4 cases that did not complete, I've kind of got the reasoning behind that. 1, the father felt his son was being bullied and needed to knock someone in the nose. 1 moved to Illinois to live with her grandma. 1 lived in Terre Haute and turned 18 and didn't think he needed to finish his sentence because he turned 18. And 1 had to have treatment more severe that needed to be outside of Peer Court. They went to like a facility type of thing. How many participate in the program and how many do not? I have had 7 people in the 3 years. I've had 7 people decide they do not want to participate in Peer Court. 1 didn't want to participate because the mother didn't feel she should be in trouble due to her being the one who provided the vapes to her daughter, and she thinks it's fine that her daughter vapes. I had 2 that had issues beyond the scope of Peer Court, and the information was forwarded to the prosecutor's office. 1, we were unable to make contact with the parents through telephone or mail, and it was referred back to the referring agency. 3 chose to pay the vape tickets in the amount of $140 opposed to going through the Peer Court. Your next question was, how many failed to achieve the sentencing of the program? And I think I've answered that. I had 4 not go through, and I explained why. The next one was, what judgments are handed down for offenders? I don't necessarily hand down judgments. They're sentenced through Peer Court. A parameter is given to the Peer Court jury depending on the offense. The Peer Court jury listens to the juvenile testify and also the parents testify. They go back and deliberate, pulling the sentence off the parameter. They have to complete a variation of community service, come in and they explain to the kids charged with like vape, marijuana, and alcohol charges how these addictions start. The majority of these addictions started with simply smoking cigarettes, which is a gateway to worse things. Drinking alcohol leads to people acting in ways they normally would not. Smoking weed bogs your mind and allows you to feel more at ease with other bad decisions. I did ask Derek Kinderman from the Truman House to come tonight. He could give a little bit more with, as to the gateway of this, because he's lived it. I've not lived that portion of it. I just know what these small things help. So if he could have a couple of minutes to kind of explain the gateway, and then I'll get back to the rest of yours.
Hi, my name is Derek Kinderman. I'm the Assistant Director of the Truman House Sober Living for Men in Terre Haute. I used to rip and tear your county for 30 plus years, And it all started with me smoking cigarettes at the age of 9. Then it was the alcohol, you know, and when I swore that I'd never do the alcohol, or when I was smoking cigarettes, I was never going to drink the alcohol. Then when I got the alcohol, I swore I'd never do the marijuana, and I ended up smoking weed. And it was never going to go farther than that. In the end, I've ran through every drug there is to man. Fortunately, other than heroin, I was a dope cook, a drug dealer. Truman House saved my life. But gateway drug is absolutely smoking. For me, at a young age, being bullied, the trauma is a gateway drug. It's a gateway into drugs. Trauma, home environment is another one. And a lot of the people, prosecutors, know, they know the kind of people that are coming in. Tia knows the parents that are coming in. They know what kind of environment they're coming from. It's all about environment, you know, how you're raised. You know, you guys know my mom and dad, Angie Kinderman. You guys know my mom. I mean, she's great. But when I was picked on and bullied when I was a kid, that led me to trying other things so I could fit in. You know, and there's nothing I wouldn't have done to being a part of, you know, because I was ostracized. You know, I wasn't allowed to be myself. And alcohol and drugs allowed me to fill a role in my life that I couldn't find anywhere else. You know, I grew up in Dana. It's a small town. What do? You drink and you smoke weed, smoke cigarettes. You know, absolutely is a gateway drug. Fortunately, I don't vape, but I know the vaping today is pointed directly at children. The flavors, you know, the different flavors especially, you know, it's all age appropriate. That's for all these kids, you know, and it's horrible. You know, I wish that they would outlaw that completely, you know.
If you had gone through peer court, you think it made any difference?
I think it would have made a huge difference. We had absolutely nothing like that. I know when I got arrested down in Clinton one time when I was 14, walking down the street in Clinton. I had beers in both pockets and a bag of weed in my pocket. And what they did was brought me into court the next day and let me face the judge, and that was it. You know, and they sent me home. You know, the guy that was the town cop back then caught me drinking and driving multiple times. Follow me home, Derek, because he lived next door to my mom and dad. Follow me home. You know, he'd do that multiple times a night because I'm out drinking and driving at the age of 16. You know, peer court probably could have saved my life. It could have changed my life. You know.
I've heard a lot of good things about Truman House. I'm not so sure we shouldn't build a few more of those.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I never had a passion for anything until I got sober and got to Truman. Truman House gave me a safe place to figure out who I am, and it gave me the opportunity to save lives. You know, and I'm very passionate about it. I appreciate you guys letting me come and talk.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
They're a great asset. I'm so glad that they've teamed up with us because these kids come in here and they listen to these stories and their eyes are about this big and they can't believe that this is where they could end up. The next questions was what are the ramifications if a person refuses peer court? You have to admit to come into peer court. In order for them to come in, they have to admit to wrongdoing. If they think there's any argument, they're not eligible for peer court because they need representation and to go through the court system. So if someone refuses peer court, if it's a vape charge, they get their $100 or $140 ticket. If it's a prosecutable offense, it's referred onto the prosecutor's office and handled through the juvenile court. The next question was, who decides if peer court is appropriate? How does it not go through court if it's a crime? In the initial stages of setting up peer court, Judge Wesh, the prosecutor's office, probation, and the officers, along with myself, sat down and discussed peer court and appropriate cases that would go along with peer court. Any status offenses and minor misdemeanors can be routed through to peer court. If there's any question as to it being appropriate or not, a meeting to decide which direction to go is held with usually probation in the prosecutor's office if there's a question. There is open communication between peer court, probation, and the prosecutor's office. There are cases in the adult court that get deferrals, and the cases are completed in the same manner as how we hold peer cases. who oversees the program for the county. I'm the administrator of the program. I oversee that things run properly and that things are being taken care of. The program is considered part of the prosecutor's office. When I researched and asked to start this program, I discussed it with Jill Wesch, who was judge at the time, and Bruce Ackerman, who was the prosecutor. Both agreed that this would be a great program for the county and would give youth the chance that they need possibly to succeed opposed to fail. I was already working in the prosecutor's office, and Judge Wesch agreed that the court was not the best place for this to be umbrellaed. If the cases were to go through peer court and not complete, then they would need to go to juvenile court. The court would need an unbiased opinion. Being in the prosecutor's office where the majority of these cases originate, that was the best umbrella for this program. The expenses are accounted for and approved just like any other office in the courthouse. I have a peer court budget and the claims are filed and approved by you, the commissioners. Appropriate expenses for the program are fairly simple. I have 3 line items in my budget: office supplies, which are things needing to run my everyday program; outreach, which are things to get the kids interested and people aware of the program; and training. If any juvenile training comes up, it allows the additional knowledge. Who pays for the expenses? Your next question was, who pays for the expenses that are not met by opioid? I again have a peer court budget. Judge Wesch was able to partially cover this peer court budget the first couple of years with an opioid grant also. And it was through the state. It's no longer available. The other money that was budgeted in, not paid for by the opioid grant, was covered by the general fund approved by the council. Non-misuse, meaning its funds may be used, was your next question. I wasn't quite for sure what this question was, but I'm assuming it's in regards to if the program applies to an opioid grant. I've been funded partially by a state opioid grant due to this program dealing with drugs and gateway drugs and teaming up with the Truman House, which comes in and gives presentations regarding the effects of these choices. I believe, yes, it applies and it is not misuse. Next was, what crimes are adjudicated by peer court? I'm not able to adjudicate crimes per se. Adjudication comes from a court sentence. This is a deferral program that keeps the kids out of the juvenile system. Things such as school offenses, status offenses, and misdemeanors can be handled through peer court. Things such as vaping, marijuana, underage drinking, disorderly conduct, driving without a license, criminal mischief, battery without injury, and theft no restitution. Next is, what happens if the terms of a sentence is not met? If they fail to comply with the sentence or do not comply with the terms, they have a 3-month period. I feel like with the youth, you have to do it and you have to do it quickly. Otherwise, they get to the point where they're like, who cares about this? So they've got three months to complete this. If they do not complete it within that 3-month period, the case gets sent back to the referring agency, whether that be the prosecutor's office, the school, whoever has gotten that information to me. How much is being requested of the funding was your next question. I applied for this grant because I feel the program is very needed. I feel that the youth of our community needs support to help them choose the right paths and to keep them from going down rocky roads as an adult. I feel that if we aren't willing to put funding towards the youth, which is our future, what's more important? So for how much I'm requesting, that's your determination as to how much you think the youth of this county's worth. What are the expenses of peer court and the funds would be expended? That was basically the same question you had asked before. What are appropriate expenses for this program?
What is the annual expense?
Do you mean my entire budget, what it's for? It's right around 80, I believe, total. Yeah. And then your next one was, is the judge in favor of the program? After receiving your list of questions, I went up and I contacted the judge, and he and I sat down for a very detailed conversation regarding peer court. He said he is in favor of problem-solving courts. He went on to say there are a few things that he could see maybe tweaking, possibly, procedurally in regards to peer court, but for the actual program and the basis behind the program, yes, he's in favor of it. He said he was going to reach out to you. I don't know if he did or not, but...
Don't recall it.
Okay. Does the health board public health director concur? I've not had any conversations with them regarding this, so I don't know. I will go on to state that vaping is a nationwide problem and is a proven problem. with these vapes, the THC pods are being used along with people now realizing how to fill these pods, and they're lacing them with things like fentanyl. And these kids are getting a hold of these vapes and they're ODing on fentanyl. It happened at Park Heritage School. A kid grabbed a vape, thought he was hitting a vape, and it had fentanyl in it, and he started seizing in the middle of a classroom because he didn't know he was vaping off of fentanyl. Does the sheriff concur? I contacted Mike Holtkamp because I knew he had surgery today and he wouldn't be able to be here. Mike said that he's very much in favor of this program. We are actually planning, once he gets back and he's recovered, me and him are going to sit down and get the jail interacted in this program. We're going to start doing jail tours. We think it would be very beneficial for these kids to go out to the jail and see what their future is if they keep going in the path that they're going. So I also contacted, it wasn't on your list, but I went up to probation and talked to the chief probation officer just to kind of make sure I touched everyone's faces. And I talked to David Robinson, and David said that they're very much in favor of it also, because it does help their office out in a way also. There's my spiel.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with how your process works. So does a kid come in who's had problems come
Okay,
to you guys for sentence or what? I mean,
yeah, I can explain it to
okay.
you. Say an officer stops a kid and finds alcohol on him. They usually write up their charges and they send it into the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor's office then says, normally Chris Reed will come to me and he says, I've got this case, I think it's more geared towards peer court than actually going up and filing it in the juvenile court. I read over it, and if I agree, I contact the parents, and as long as the kid says, yeah, I had the alcohol, I did it, I explain what the process is. How the process works is they've got like I said, they've got 3 months to complete the program. They will come in, the prosecutor is a peer-aged kid, the public defender is a peer-aged kid, and the jury is peer-aged kids. There is a volunteer judge that comes in there, and basically it's scripted. The judge is there just to kind of keep them in line to make sure they know exactly where they should be. You know, cues the prosecutor when to talk, cues the public defender when to talk. They put the juvenile on the stand. They question him just like a jury trial. So they question.
But these are other youths.
These are other youths. These are their peers.
And what ages are they?
It's junior high and high school. I did tell South Vermillion, because they started having 5th graders down there. I says, I don't think this is good for like 5th graders because I don't think they would understand exactly what was going on. So it's basically 6th grade through senior in high school.
Okay.
So they come in there. I give them a parameter of what the sentences could be, you know, varying from, you know, 10 to 30 hours of community service. I make them come back to jury duties because I want them to see the flip side. So they give them anywhere from 1 to say 3 times that they have to come back and serve on the jury. Apology letters. Some of them have to go. I like a lot of these vape kids and marijuana kids to go interview a healthcare provider, and I make them write 10 questions as to what this could do to their bodies, their minds, things like that. That way they get an idea and they realize that it's just not us parents trying to be mean to them, but there's a reason behind it. So then they have a jury foreman, just like a jury trial. The jury foreman stands up, gives the sentence. We do make the parents go on stand also, and they ask the parents questions.
That's good.
You know, is this normal behavior for them? What was your thoughts when you got the call? You know, things like that. But what it does is, instead of the parents having to pay a fee or a fine, it has these kids be accountable for their actions, and they actually have to be responsible. So that's kind of the thing. Make them be aware of what's going on, what the harm is that they're doing to themselves, and where they could end up. That's basically how it works. Long-winded, sorry.
Very good.
Are you a county employee, or are you?
I am.
Okay. It looks like it's right around $3,000 per, I don't know if you call them students or persons that are going in front of the court. Is there any way, or have you ever looked at what cost savings there is to either them having to go in front of the prosecutor, the judge, the probate, sheriff, law enforcement, school administration, wherever. Have you ever compared the cost of the program to the benefits of the program?
I do know that the detention rate has gone down, I believe. Is that correct? I could get more numbers as to that. I don't necessarily pay attention to that part of it. I kind of focus on mine. So
That's fine. I just
yeah.
wondered if you did, or if anybody had done
I
that.
definitely could get those numbers for you.
I didn't quite hear, how do you get referrals? Is it from the administrators?
I can get referrals from police officers. I can get them from the prosecutor's office. I can get them from schools. And probation, sometimes if a charge gets filed and probation looks at it and thinks, I think this might be more suited for peer court than actually going through court, they call down and they say something to me about it, and then we go in and we sit down with Chris or Bruce and decide whether we think that it should go ahead and be transferred over to peer court and go from there.
Okay. Why are you not part of the prosecutor's funding if you're working through the prosecutor
I think
primarily?
the peer court budget is part of the prosecutor's office,
It comes across on our dockets as that.
but I kind of watch my own because I kind of stand alone basically. I mean I'm not in there doing their juvenile cases. I'm not in there doing their criminal cases. I kind of stand alone, and most of my stuff is done in the evening time. I come in during the day like a normal employee, but peer court's held at nighttime from 6 to 8 at night, so no one misses school, no one misses work, things like that.
Mr. Ackerman, can you explain why this isn't underneath the prosecutor's office?
I think that it is. I think it's under the umbrella of the prosecutor's office. At one point, it was paid for out of a grant from the court. But I think that...
Do you not budget? I guess, why isn't there a budget line item for that? Well, there is a line item. Why don't we budget for it?
What's that?
It is.
Why don't you, do you request from the council monies to
Yes.
fund
Yes,
this?
I do. I went in front of the council.
And they said,
Well, I'm assuming it's approved. I got a budget. Now we're just trying to basically supplement the general fund if possible by getting the grant money to take some of the off of the general fund. Because this is, I mean, it's a youth program that's definitely, in my opinion, it's definitely necessary.
so you're funded, but it's a matter of whether we use grant. This is part of the grant process that you're looking for additional monies, not just here necessarily, but other places as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
That's what I was.
Yes.
And Ashley James came and spoke
Yes,
last
she did.
meeting on behalf of this, and that I assume several council members, or at least her as the president of the council, wanted to see this funded.
Absolutely.
From, I believe it was the improvement fund, right? That you
No.
the opioid funding. Sorry,
Opioid.
sorry.
Yep.
I misspoke. But yeah, she spoke to us last meeting about that, so I just assumed it was the whole council was really, behind you on this.
Absolutely.
And I remember when this was started back with Judge Wesch, and I believe it's an excellent program. I remember when you guys started, you went over to Danville and seen their program,
Yeah,
and I firmly believe, even these kids that you've sent to community service, I think they do see a difference in going, hey, if I do this, it's giving them an alternate route to go instead of, like Mr. Kinderman spoke, going to jail.
I have kids that actually have gotten in trouble and they have to come back and serve on the jury. They come back religiously now and serve on my jury because I think they just feel like they have somewhere to go and someone that gives a crap, for a better lack of words.
I think it's a great asset to the county, I really do.
Is there a problem with them admitting guilt without having representation? It sounds like some of these are kind of minor, but it's still admitting guilt. If they do that right up front, and they I guess it's easy prosecution at that point, if they don't continue through the program. Is there a problem? It seems like there's a problem with that.
If they admit the guilt, if they do that, they want to do the peer court program. They're not going to come out and say, yeah, I did it, if they're not going to want to do peer court. That's how I get my referrals, is normally if it's something that we think, or they have admitted, they may say in the police report, yeah, I had the weed in my pocket. Well, that's admitting right there. So, and we don't want to just throw them into court. We want to help these kids and try to make them see that
I understand, I'm
Yeah.
not questioning that, it's just a matter of is there a conflict between admitting a guilt without representation of, I assume the parents are there as
The
well?
parents are there, absolutely.
So
The
they
parents are
have-
with them all the way through.
So they have a choice of getting representation if they
Yes.
want to, before they get thrown into this, or placed
Yeah.
into this.
Mhm.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nicely done, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, improvement grant program agreement with WICF.
Are you going, is there anything on the water access?
No, a couple people with DNR on vacation, and they're supposed to get back with us next week, or get back with me next week, I should say.
Is that yours?
Yeah, I'm not the point. Yeah, the DNR. Yeah.
So just go on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll provide you guys with an update once they give me one.
Okay, next we have the improvement money funding, I think that,
Yeah, I didn't have anything on my agenda. It was my understanding that you were going to meet between the last meeting and today to review the grant proposals. And in addition to that, then Mr. Luther asked me to put together a document of what the county's role would be, what the community foundation's role would be. And so I provided that to Kylie. I assume she had forwarded on. I also sent a copy to Mr. Spur as well, so he's had a chance to look at it. I haven't heard back from anyone, so.
what we're going to do, you guys want to explain what we're going to do, or I can, let one of you guys talk.
Well, we met a little bit earlier today and discussed some of the projects before us, and I think Kylie had mentioned. Dale, do you know if there's more projects been submitted to the?
There have not.
There's been no other projects.
We have not promoted it until we got to first base.
Okay.
And so we're not to first base yet. And
Okay.
so I'm
That's
not
what we
trying to get to
discussed. We
second or
didn't.
third
Yeah,
base
we didn't know
until-
if there has been any more applications because there was a discussion during that work session on whether or not to ask you to close it or to leave it open.
They're allowed to apply, but they don't know to apply unless we promote it.
Okay.
And so we haven't been promoting it.
Okay.
Because we're not to first base yet.
Okay.
So it's kind of a test, is what we've been doing, and we want to know if we're in the same game or not.
Okay.
Actually,
So-
I think I'm rounding third.
So-
Uh,
So I'm just here to help you if you want help. So-
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we'll take all the help we can get, Dale, especially free, you know. I mean, but no, I think we're going to meet with the council, I believe, and probably discuss.
What we're going to do, we're going to get together with council and try to figure out, because they got to approve everything that goes on. So why if we go approve things and then it's not approved over there, we're going to have a meeting of the minds with the council and commissioners and come up with, this is the plan. And right now, I think that's something that needs to be done.
I think we've come up with parameters on how we want to distribute funding. The problem is what to fund. So that's, I think, where we're
Yeah.
at, is to actually make a suggestion, or not a suggestion, but a recommendation to the council as to what to be funded and how much we're willing to fund. Question is whether we are closing this or not, or whether we're going to promote it further, or promote it, period, I guess, other than these meetings. So
I'm not interested in closing it right now. I mean, do what we have to.
how long are we
have, I
going to
think
leave it
there's-
open?
Huh?
How long are we wanting to leave it open?
I don't know. What, give another week or two, I don't know.
Whenever
We had one presentation going to be tonight and they couldn't come and sick, so.
Well, I would suggest we probably wouldn't meet with the council until we get that completely closed then, in case there is one or
But what?
20.
Okay.
I mean, if we want to go to them with all the projects that were submitted. You want to leave it open another 2 weeks?
I'd say at least another 2 weeks.
What is today, Kylie said the 13th, I was like, 13th?
I don't know, 21st, right?
21st, you want to close at the 21st?
And then that way there that would be at the next meeting. We'd have a final,
So we want to coordinate with the council and having maybe a meeting before December 1st, maybe? Meeting with all
we
of
need to
us?
see if we can get a council commissioners meeting before that.
I mean, after the 21st, though.
Better if we had it before, wouldn't it?
Or you want to discuss the if you want to discuss the projects with them, no, you want to wait and see if there's any other.
It's up to you guys.
There's no time between them and the first.
It has to be after the 21st.
That's your conference.
Oh, the IACC conference, yeah. Well, since Brenda has a long list of things to do in the auditor's office, you want to see if you can coordinate a meeting with all 10 of us? Or try to coordinate a meeting with all 10 of us? Since we're all pretty easy to get a hold of.
I think what needs to be done is, I'll get hold of Ashley, and she needs to send a letter out to those on the council if they can think about this before they, before they come to the meeting where they can kind of.
Well, that's what, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that as well, yeah. I think most of them would probably entertain doing it, I would imagine.
Closed on the 17th, we have a meeting on the 20th. Just throwing ideas out there.
I'm open to pretty much anything, so just
So
let me
make a
know.
decision here, let's move on.
If we're gonna leave it open till the 20th, or if we're gonna close it the 21st, I'd like to have the meeting after the 21st then,
Fine.
just that way we can review anything that comes in. Maybe leave that up to Brenda to select a date,
I think the 6th.
December 6th.
Unless we have any, well,
Need to have the meeting evening, probably.
could do the 4th, Monday night, if they're available. Because you work days. I'll look at the 4th, see if that
Okay.
works.
Yeah, 4th or 6th would be, either way.
Okay.
Send out a notice.
What about you, Brendan?
Of what?
December
December 4th?
or 6th?
I don't
6th is
care.
preferred for me, but.
I'll have to look at my calendar, but, okay. Were you here to just talk about it as an interest? Okay.
And my experience has been when it's a new grant process for groups who haven't participated, Kim or I are willing to be available out in the lobby. We don't have to be in on the meeting, but if there's questions that you want us, so you can move it through without, my guess is if we're not available to answer your questions, there'll be another meeting.
Gee, sounds
We
like
like
experience
meetings.
there.
We like meetings, we like you to come.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County festivals and events, area plan's got an open house, coming up November the 8th. It'll be, I guess there's two meetings, right?
Tomorrow.
Places.
Yep.
In the morning that's at the health office, ain't it? No, that's the community center.
Community Center for Clinton
And then at 1
and
p.m.
courthouse up at the second part of that meeting, or
1
second.
p.m. to 4 p.m. at the courthouse. Vermillion County Bicentennial, have you starting to have some interest in that?
I do. I had somebody volunteer for grant writing, and I sent a list to the foundation, and I'm adding to that list at this point. And next meeting, I hope to make an announcement, or not announcements, but at least read off that list anyway, and see if I can't get a little additional interest. But we're up to 3 people, 2 people interested now, other than myself.
I'm interested, I tell you.
You're one of the 2.
Oh.
We'll add you twice.
Anything historical, I'm involved. I love history.
But it is, if anybody, I know we have a big gallery here tonight, but if you're going to listen to this and you want to participate in the Vermillion County Birthday Party of 2024, the 200th anniversary bicentennial, please get a hold of me, and we'll find many a thing for you to participate in.
Need to get something on Facebook on it, some type of a page.
Yeah, if I
or
played on
something.
Facebook, that'd be fine.
I know you
but
don't want to do it, but I mean, it's a easy way to get information out.
Maybe Dan Furry can do that. He's got plenty of time.
Where did that come from?
You're here. I know you're in the community and involved, so thank you
I'm going to ask
for
our
volunteering.
contractor of the Annex property come up here and give us a report.
Okay.
Up front, you're called as a witness.
As long as I don't miss dinner, John, in 15 minutes, that's all I'm trying to get.
Short, sweet. John Graves. I'm the construction manager for the project across the street. And the drywallers will be back again tomorrow and have told me they won't leave until it's done.
Good.
So
Good news.
that's the good news. The bad news is the electricians haven't been here since about a month and a half. And we're going to have words. The doors are ordered. They will be here in a week. The windows for the public defender's offices are in, and drywall is moving along. All the HVAC is done.
Good.
Josh Layton did an excellent job.
Good.
Awesome.
The state inspector will be here Thursday, and once again, we'll be crossing our fingers and our toes that he doesn't say anything about the drywall and ceiling. So that's where we're at.
Very good.
Thank you.
So when's the big day of flipping the ribbon, you think?
Getting
we committed here.
Don't want to put on no date yet,
We
right?
may have to put a ribbon across Mike Siefert's driveway.
We still gotta make Thanksgiving?
Well, no, I don't think Thanksgiving's gonna make it. Thank you, Mr. Seaver.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. I will be, next meeting, I would like to, between now and next meeting, maybe we can piggyback on one of the other meetings, have another meeting together with the 74 corridor project. We've got some, I'd like to have a meeting with some people, commissioners and those involved, to give you guys an update on that process. And then we're looking at maybe securing some funding for a study for that project. And so I'd like to get that news out to you guys and maybe somebody from the council to that, so they can know what's going on. And it's an excellent opportunity for our county. And so I will be informing you all about that here coming up, and I am be seeking some funding for a study. So I just want to let you guys know about that. Property annex, we covered that. Okay, anybody else got anything to say before we move on and make closing comment here? I am requesting some information on Clinton City on the properties. There has been some issues there, and all I want to know is the truth. And we will be asking questions. The properties that, when they are let loose, is a decision of the commissioners where they go. And there's been some questions asked, and I think that we need clarity on some things. And we will proceed on finding out those answers. So all I want is truth, and that's where all I meet at is the truth. So we will be giving you an update here for long about the process of that. So, you guys got anything to say?
No, you say there was pictures on those
Picture.
lots? That information you said?
Did you get them all?
No, I didn't.
Those were emailed out.
Oh, they were emailed out, okay. I didn't know if there was something different than what we received in the email, that's why. Okay, thank you.
So that being said, anybody else got anything to say before we close the meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for attending. What's that?